Hello, it's 10:15 in the morning and it's a Tuesday. And of course you've heard by now that I've run out of cereals purposefully, i.e. I haven't replenished on the muesli or cornflakes, and instead I have beans on toast waiting for me. It's going to be cold if I'm not quick. The steam is beginning to disappear, so that's a sign. So I'm going to rewatch the video that I uploaded yesterday whilst I have the breakfast, and after that I'm going to get cracking on yesterday's video, hopefully finish it before it's too later in the afternoon so that I can go for a quick drive. That's the immediate plan for today. Well, I've had my breakfast. It's about 11ish, and I saw my video again, as I mentioned. Then I started watching a YouTube video on Danny Aiello, the New York actor who passed away a few weeks ago. And I was actually listening to a podcast he made where he didn't present it, he was a guest on someone else's podcast. And I was listening to it in bed last night, so it works. I did drift off, and I had to, whenever I woke up, I sort of went back a bit to hear it all. Because I was watching the documentary, going back, even back, further back. I was watching a YouTube video on The Godfather Part 2. That was a podcast, but it was a visual podcast. But it has to be if it's on YouTube. But not necessarily. Some YouTube videos are just audio and you just got one still picture throughout. Anyway, it was on Godfather Part 4, and they were talking about, I think it's about 2 hours long, just talking about the film. So they went behind the scenes and what you didn't, the little things you knew about the film. And of course one of it was Danny Aiello, how he I thought he was up for the part of Sonny, and he even signed the contract to that effect, but it all, obviously it did happen. And of course he did get as a recompense, he did get a part in Godfather Part 2, but it was only a small 2-minute role, and I don't want to say which scene it is, but it doesn't make any difference. But he improvised a line, or did he not improvise a line, and that became a topic of discussion on the internet. So I was fascinated by Danny Aiello's involvement in The Godfather, and I got to hear a lot about him and the things he used to say. He's one of these guys who says it as it is, like Mickey Rourke, there's no pretense. He says things truthfully, and of course it could harm him working with other people. So from there I then watched this podcast, which was mentioned in the Godfather podcast, and it was just good to hear him in interviews, because he's a stage actor, so he's very he's not dull. When he comes on he's an interviewer's delight, because he talks and he's animated and he's articulate, and it was just a pleasure to listen to him in this podcast. And of course, you know how YouTube works. If you turn on YouTube, it just so happened that after I saw my video, there were some other little suggested videos, and one of them was this Danny Aiello and Letterman throughout the years from 1987 to 1997, and it didn't fail to impress. So I watched that. That was 45 minutes long. It seemed shorter, but Yeah, it was 45 minutes long. So now that's finished, I'm just going to put this out and start editing yesterday's vlog. Well, how about this? For the second day in a row, I'm going to have a vlog, previous day vlog, ready for upload today with hours to spare. In other words, I've just edited, and this moment kicked off the export for yesterday's vlog, and it's only 2:20. And the sun is out, but it's very cold. In fact, it hasn't been bad. I've had the heating off for quite a while, and I haven't noticed it until now. So, what I'm trying to say is, I'm now going to go for a wee drive around the block while this exports. I'm hoping it doesn't, it's just giving me an ETA. I'm hoping it doesn't crash, because there are one or two gimmicks in this one. And I've got a funny feeling it's going to fall flat on my face. It's going to omit it. I don't know which video editor in the past did that to me. It omitted a gimmick. And I have a feeling it was Shotcut. But since then there have been improvements and upgrades, so I'm hoping it will be okay. It's been pretty stable. I've not had to restart or delete any files, do any cleanup of temporary files. It's been really stable. There's not been that much lagging. I mean, it lags now and again, but it was tolerable. So I think, touch wood, it will export. Oh yeah, the ETA in 2 hours time. In fact, it looks like it's frozen. No, it's not frozen. So in 2 hours time, 2 hours 14, that would be 14:36, 16:36. So 16:36, 17:36, 18. So about 6 o'clock, it could be uploaded. So that's the ETA, the final ETA, 6 p.m.-ish. That's pretty good. A bit of my lip. So, having said all that, all that's left for me to do now is to adjourn to the bedroom, slip on my rhythm and blues. I might put a coat on actually. And the next time you see me will be driving down some road or other. 1 hour 50 left of the export, and as I was driving I felt a pan of the hunger variety. So I've got some dishes to wash up from this morning, which I need to reuse shortly for next meal. Vis-a-vis chili con carne. So, and the time now is about 4. Yeah, 4 on the dot. So we're on schedule. So 6 o'clock. Looks like the export will finish, and then probably I think there's an hour delay to the ETA because the export will finish at 6 p.m. The upload will probably take half an hour to an hour, so we're looking at least 7 p.m. So it's still not too bad. I mean, by 8 it should be up. That's 4 hours before the deadline. It's a bit like midnight one, the midnight deadline. Right, so without even more further delay, I'm going to wash said dishes. I've got Jazz FM on the telly whilst I was playing it's a kind of room escape game, a point and click game called Forgotten Hill. There's a sort of series of them, and the latest one came out a few months ago. I was about to play it when I realised there was a game before that I hadn't played. So I just played it, and I thought I'll play it, finish it, and then I'll make myself a sandwich, and then I'll go back and play the latest one. So that's it. That in effect is what's just happened. I've just completed the game. So now I'm going to have a sandwich or two and a couple of crisps and coffee and watch TV. And after that I'll resume with the second game of the day.